Having a safe living environment is one of the essential elements for a successful long-term recovery. Very few people are able to stay clean and sober if their living situation is unsafe, has drugs or alcohol present, or is unstable. So in this video, let's look at some of the options you have, our recommendations, and how to make the best of each living situation. This will be followed up with the Recovery Action Plan to assess your options and create a safe living plan that works best for you. These are houses where newly sober people live together in a safe, supportive, and recovery-centered environment. They provide the combination of both freedom and structure to assist you in your transition. So why is sober living a good idea? When moving into a sober living house, you have a built-in recovery community. Most houses will have 5 or more people living in them, so it's easy to make friends, go to meetings, and share meals with each other. Sober homes are generally month to month, come fully furnished, and you can find houses to meet most budgets. This makes moving in and out of sober living easy and low stress. Additionally, some houses are specialized, providing housing for low-income, parents with children, people transitioning from jail, or the LGBTQ community. So what are some drawbacks of sober living? Well, quality sober living homes aren't available in every town or city, so you may have to move to a new area for a sober living home that's right for you. Also, not all sober living houses are created equal. Some are going to be mismanaged, can have poor living conditions, and even people hiding their drinking and using. Lastly, houses can feel crowded at times, so you will need to get used to living with numerous roommates, new people coming and going, and there is always the potential for someone relapsing and being asked to leave. All that said, we recommend sober living for anybody just entering recovery, especially if you don't have a safe housing option available or you just feel more comfortable being around sober people. Also, sober living homes are an excellent resource to have available as a backup plan if your current living situation doesn't work out for you. Sober living is meant to be temporary, so many people in early recovery will take this option for a few months to get comfortable being clean and sober and developing good recovery habits before returning home. First, you will need to have a safe, comfortable home that is conducive to your recovery. Also, if you have responsibilities that need to be taken care of at home, like raising young children or taking care of pets. And if you choose to live alone, you will need to have a strong community and support system around you. So when is living on your own a bad idea? Well, if you're the type of person that tends to shut yourself off from the world and isolate. Also, if there is a lack of accountability when you're on your own, it can become easy to slack off on recovery and possibly relapse without anyone knowing. And lastly, if you used and drank at home, sometimes the memories around your house can begin to trigger your addiction, depression, or anxiety. If you are going to live on your own, we recommend you to 1. Have a strong support system that you can check in with and be accountable to. 2. That you have a friend or family member help remove all drugs, alcohol, or triggering items from your home. 3. That you have a backup plan for either sober living or a safe roommate or family member you can live with. And 4. To make sure you spend ample time outside of your house to avoid the potential for loneliness and isolation. So when is it a good idea to live with loved ones? If you have a family, partner, or roommates that are supportive of your recovery and are willing to live in a clean and sober household. If your home brings you comfort, safety, and the ability to have a low-stress environment. Or if your family is dependent upon you for helping to manage and support the household. When is it a bad idea to live with loved ones? If there are ongoing problems in your household that cause unhelpful stress, abuse, resentment, or triggering situations. If your partner, family members, or roommates aren't willing to stop drinking or using, even if they don't have addiction problems themselves, it can make your recovery very challenging. If the day-to-day stress of managing a household is just too overwhelming, it may be necessary to take a break from this living situation if you have the help of a spouse, family member, or friends to help with your responsibilities. Our recommendations for living with loved ones. Everyone's home life is going to be different, so we recommend you assess your situation, ask for help when necessary, and make the best decisions you can to protect your recovery. During this time, you may have to make some hard sacrifices, but in the long run, putting your recovery first will be the best decision for you and your loved ones. So when is moving to a new area a good idea? If everywhere you turn there are people, places, things, and memories that trigger thoughts of drinking or using. Also, if the area you live in lacks supportive people, recovery meetings, or a healthy community to be a part of. Lastly, as long as you're not avoiding responsibilities, simply getting a fresh start in a new area with new people and new surroundings can be just what your recovery needs. So when is moving a bad idea? If you're moving to avoid responsibilities and problems that need to be taken care of. If you're chasing after a distraction like a new boyfriend or girlfriend, a career change, or some other version of the grass is always greener, it can be very easy to think a geographic move will solve all of your problems. But our problems generally follow us wherever we go. As you might have heard the saying, wherever I go, there I am. When I first got sober, I was living in my small hometown where I felt triggered and uncomfortable. There was a handful of recovery meetings, but I didn't feel like I fit in. I loved my town, but frankly, I didn't feel like it was the best place to start my new life in recovery. While in treatment, I made sober friends who lived in a nearby city that were urging me to move to their area where there was a strong recovery community. So I made some calls and found an affordable sober living house and decided to make the move. Right away, I knew I had made the right choice. I had access to loads of meetings, great sober friends and roommates, and even better job opportunities. Don't get me wrong, I was scared to death to move, but I felt like this was the fresh start I needed to make recovery my primary focus. Our living situations may never be totally perfect, but by staying clean and sober, following through with the rest of this program, and putting your recovery first, the quality of your home life is bound to improve. Next, click on the Recovery Action Plan and let's get started guiding you towards the safe living environment that's right for you.